This is my Claude Scales competition entry. What we're covering here is a system that is able to get local leads across the United States in the following ways. First of all, we're going to leverage local lead generation. Meaning, we will have 3 sources of leads that we're going to cover here in this explanation. And all of the files are in the GitHub repository, made available to you for free, so you can just utilize it. If you need help customizing that, you can always shoot me a message, then we can take a look at how we can customize it for your location, provided you're in the United States. That's how it's going to work. Because chambers of commerce in the United States, as you can see here, oftentimes have very subpar website, and that's a great point. Like, this is a WordPress site of the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce, which is in New Jersey, as I understand it. And the website currently has some errors going on, but still the directory is up and running. So if we now take, for example, this business here, and we click on Learn More, the Chamber of Commerce has a member directory. So do the BNI chapters. And so I found a way with Playwright to go in there, configure it so that it opens each card and takes down the profile information and then enriches them with a waterfall enrichment flow utilizing Tavily, Exa AI, Perplexity. And then if you really want the emails, you can utilize People Data Labs or an API like Hunter or Apollo. I prefer Hunter.ai. I've not seen anything that Apollo can do that Hunter couldn't do, but I'm also not that deep into these 2 in particular. For me, Tavily, Exa, and Perplexity have been getting me incredible results of finding somebody's website or LinkedIn. If there's a name, like if there's a website and a LinkedIn profile associated to that name and that business, it finds it with 90% accuracy. So here is the business, and we can send them a message right through the website, like right through the Chamber of Commerce website. And that is what we're going to cover here today. Now, what does that enable you to do? This enables you to, wherever you're at in the United States, from Maryland in the north of the East Coast to Seattle in the north of the West Coast, or anywhere in between, to find local businesses who are already listed on the Chamber of Commerce, which pre-qualifies them as being usually tenured in business, usually long-standing businesses join the Chamber of Commerce and have been for years. You also find them usually having subpar and not very modern websites, and this is also what's included here in this local lead gen system. Not only do we find the contacts through BNI and Chamber of Commerce and the lifestyle magazine that I've put into the second video that you will see here below that competition entry, but you can also enrich these contacts so you get a full comprehensive overview, a true deep research report of what they've published online, etc., as well as a website build, a bespoke website for them, utilizing either an identical clone of their website or something custom that we can build from. That's my local lead gen system. Enjoy. All right, good. So now we've got the leads, we've found them, we've scraped them, we've enriched them, and now we've scored them also against our ICP. Now it's time to make them a gift, a present, a lead magnet that will compel them to work with us. So let's go and jump in, take a look at that. So this is a website of a real business that I've scraped from the Bergen County, New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. I like these East Coast businesses, they respond very well to me. For some reason, they also seem to have worse websites than in the West Coast of the United States. Anyways, so they do managed IT service provider, they are, and they have a contact form here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make them a better, improved version of their website and include that in the message, and then get Playwright to contact this business right through the form, all fully automatically. Let's go and take a look at that. First of all, the skills that are included in that GitHub repo do the following. This is a website, for example, of somebody who scored highly against my ICP. This is the real website. They are in the insurance industry, as you can tell. So what we can do here is we can utilize Kling to make a video and an animation of the real image. How cool is that? Right? You see the static image here. Now I don't know why this thing is flying away. That wasn't quite intended. Kling just made that up. But we can also remove like the blue overlay here. But anyway, so that's one of the skills. Shout out to Altus Snyman, who also showed that on his Facebook channel. That's the real example that he showed, and basically being able to make a video version of that. As you can tell, as I'm pointing that out, the people are standing in the roof, but you wouldn't have seen that unless I pointed that out. So we can make a website, an improved version with a video header. How cool is that? And We can obviously then also make them a better version without their face, right, with design best practices based on more WordPress theme looking sites, and that we can just send over. And this here is one with his face, for example, right? We can send that to Brad in order to get his attention, a little bit of graphical animations. And so that was that. And this is also another business that we had the privilege of working with, or at least taking a look at. And so what we were able to do is do a cloned version of that website, and all of these skills are included in the GitHub repo. You can utilize them, and also with the chat widget here, right? So we can show them, this is your website, exactly how it currently looks like, and this is what it could look like if we just included the chat widget to your website. And obviously what's also possible is to get their website, clone it automatically, and just have the header section so that they recognize this is my website, and then we just do a bit of storytelling, leading them into a funnel, into eventually booking a meeting with us. So as a last example, this is another person that I have the privilege of working with. He gets most of his business through BNI, and he recognized himself that the website needs updating. I say, I do agree, and maybe you agree too. And so what we can do is we spin up a website that looks a little bit more modern and more timely, right? And so this is what it can look like here. Again, a bit of WordPress looking site, and this is another version of what it can do, right? And we can send those websites over to get their attention, to basically give them a gift as a lead magnet. So, right, you get the idea. So now what we've built for this business in particular, we've just spun up a website. Let me show you how that is. As you can see, we're cranking 3 windows here simultaneously, and so we just put that in here, clicked a few times, yes, accept, and then it spit out this custom domain deployed via Cloudflare. And yes, you can, eventually it will just run on a spreadsheet so that you won't need to accept anymore, but for now you can just click accept a few times and it spits that out. And now this is how the site looks like. Now their website wasn't particularly terrible, although it can be improved. But just imagine you come across a website like that a client has. To them, a website like that is an absolutely fabulous lead magnet. And now let us go and take a look how Playwright is able to send them that lead magnet automatically. Now to Playwright. Now submit the message through the form on their website. Okay, so here we see now that the form is filling up and has been submitted, and then later on we're going to take a look at the Chamber of Commerce and how it is scrolling through these pages. I was not able to capture that with my face recording right here, but as you can see on the screen, this is what's happening. And also on top of that, you will see that the forms are being submitted here, and these are the screenshots of the successful submission. So the messages do go through, and that's the entirety of the system. So what you can do with it is reach out to local businesses and make contact with them in a way that is not email based, that is not cold email based, although we can do that also, but we